Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, we're going to be taking a look at a new Dhelmise card. And I'm a bit of a Dhelmise fanboy, I make no bones about this, but I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, this one's kind of fun. Now, it is a psychic Pokemon, and it's got the magical 130 HP. That means that you don't need to worry about stuff like Buzzwole, as I got an Hanty, and the other things that do 120 HP. Cool, 120 damage, you know what I mean. The retreat cost of free kind of sucks because you don't get to use buff padding or search with Pokemaniac, but there's a bunch of free retreat Pokemon out there at the moment, by which I mean retreat cost of free. Zero retreat is awesome. Resistance to fighting is good because, hey, you know that Buzzwole I just said about with Diancie? Well, even with Diancie, they're not getting a KO. That's pretty awesome. Okay, fine, they can do it with a Beast Energy, but you know what I mean. And the weakness to Darkness is honestly fine. Zoroark's rotating out, and Darkness just doesn't, at least at the moment, it doesn't seem like it's going to be a huge problem moving forward. You got stuff like Mega Sableye and Tyranitar, but they're going to be getting a fairly easy one-hit KO on you anyway, so it's not really any point worrying about it. And of course, Psychic Pokemon means you can accelerate energy with Malamar, and you can use Spell Tag if you go and get KO'd, drop a bit of damage around. But what does this Dhelmise actually do? Well, the first attack here, and I am translating with Google Translate, though I have checked with the lovely Joe from Cerebi.net just to make sure I'm not saying anything too dumb. And the first attack here, for one colourless energy, put one trainer card from your discard pile into your hand. Cool. It's trainer recovery. We don't have great trainer recovery at the moment. This puts anything directly into your hand, and it's a basic Pokemon. It's for one colourless energy, and we're rolling. And you can get any of those trainer cards back, and they're in your hand ready to go the next turn. And essentially, there's two times where you're going to want to be doing this. In the early game, use the trainers nice and fast and then just go and reuse one. Or in the mid to late game where, frankly, you've got something that's going to win you the game, and this just goes ahead and does it. Now, one of the downsides here, of course, is that your opponent can play something like Reset Stamp, which is going to be probably played a lot when it comes out. I assume it's going to be played a huge amount. Or a Judge to try and give you a new hand, essentially. A smaller hand is the plan, and then it's back in your deck. But at least it's in your hand for a short while, and maybe your opponent doesn't have a Reset Stamp or something like that, and then you can keep that card and you can play it in the future. Now, the classic examples we've got at the moment are Guzma and Ace Roller. They are the cards that you need right now that are going to probably end up winning you the game, and that's a bit of a pain. But how about something like a Great Catcher? This is a new card coming out that lets you discard two cards from your hand and then drag an EX or a GX from your opponent's bench into their active spot. That's going to be extremely useful. But what if they end up in the discard? And what if you haven't got access to one? And even if there are some left in your deck and you just can't find them, sure, maybe you're playing something like Red's Challenge that will allow you to search for them, but what this does so beautifully is it just guarantees you've got it in your hand. And yes, maybe your opponent's got a Reset Stamp, but maybe they don't, and if they don't, you're laughing. Now, if this only did supporters, you'd be able to play something like Palpad or Lusamine to get those supporters back. And okay, Lusamine is your supporter for the turn, but Lusamine also puts them into your hand. But it's two in any combination of Stadium or supporters, so it's better. Similarly, Palpad gets you multiple supporters back, but they do go into your deck. You just shuffle two supporter cards from your discard pile directly into your deck, and that's a bit of a pain, but hey-ho, ladies and gentlemen, hey-ho. But this gets you any item card back you like. Now, to be fair, we have got a couple Pokemon at the moment that do that. We've got Oranguru that lets you take free cards in the discard pile and put them on the bottom of your deck. And the Excadrill card, which is going to be coming out in Unified Minds, that lets you grab any free cards, four from your discard pile and shuffle them into your deck, which I think is a little bit better. The thing is, none of those cards go to your hand, and they're all stage 1s. And Excadrill, if I remember correctly, is for a coloured energy, not a colourless. So look, if what you're going for here is great recovery, getting a huge amount of any cards you like back, Dhelmise is not your boy. But if you want that one particular trainer card, which is going to turn the game, this is it. I mean, let's say for argument's sake you're playing a stage 2 deck and you have to discard 2 rare candy early doors. You can use this to get that 1 rare candy back, and then firstly, you've only got 1 in your discard rather than 2, and secondly, you've got it in your hand so that at the beginning of your next turn, you can rare candy and evolve up into a stage 2, and you're ready to go. The thing is, if you want to recover item cards, we don't really have any great options. We used to have Puzzle of Time, but that, well, rotated out of standard, got banned and expanded. Cheers for that, Zoroark. So we're basically left with attacks. And I'm not going to argue that this is better than Oranguru in every situation. Because Oranguru is also a basic. And Oranguru also does it for 1 colourless energy, but Oranguru puts it on the bottom of your deck. So you've then got to go and find it. And something like a rare candy is really hard to search out. Something like a great catcher is really hard to search out. Sure, you can use something like Green's Exploration or the aforementioned Red's Challenge, but that's your supporter card for the turn to grab a card that you used your attack to get back. So you're basically using an attack and a supporter to recover 1 card, and that's awkward. Not loving that. This puts it straight into your hand. And it's also got a workable attack. It's not a stunning attack, but we can work with it. 2 Psychic, 1 colourless energy, 100 damage. Damage from this attack is not affected by resistance. Cool. Now, the great news is here that this being a Psychic Pokemon, you've got Malamar. So getting the energy on here is really not going to be a huge problem. Yay! Here's the thing, though. Is 100 damage enough? I'm not sure 100 damage is enough. I mean, the thing that you're most going to be wanting to hit for weakness is going to be Mewtwo and Mew, which has 270 HP. So you do 100 doubled with weakness is 200, and you're not that close. Even if you had Choice Band, you'd be 10 damage short. And we don't even have Choice Band. Although, to be fair, Shrine of Punishment would be able to do that extra 10 damage. But even then, free energy plus a Choice Band plus a Shrine of Punishment is a lot. And you get free prizes, but it's still quite a lot. The thing is, I just think we've got better options here. I mean, the one we use at the moment is Giratina. And Giratina, for essentially the same cost, does 130. Now it puts 2 damage on one of your Pokemon, and that's sad, etc. But you do 130. Even the Armored Mewtwo promo we looked at the other day could do 130 for free energy. So frankly, yeah. I mean, it hits through resistance, and that's great, because there are a bunch of Pokemon out there that are resistant to Psychic. You're basically talking all your Metal Pokemon. But that essentially means that you do an extra 20 damage against some Pokemon. And then we've got alternative Pokemon that do an extra 30 damage, making it kind of irrelevant. I think if you're playing Dhelmise for the first attack, then it's worth playing it for the second, because you'll use it occasionally. But if you're not after the first attack, I don't really see much of a reason to play this, especially when you can look at stuff like Zapdos that won't be KO'd by Dhelmise, but would be KO'd by a Giratina. I don't think you can play it for the second attack. Reusing an item card or a trainer card of any description, item or otherwise, getting it directly into your hand ready to use next turn, that I'm in favour of. Is it a good enough reason to make space in your deck? I'll let you be the judge of that. I'm giving it free Wossies because you might want to put a couple copies in your binder because you never know if it's going to end up in a deck, and that's a free Wossie card. I think it's probably a one-off tech in some decks to reuse particular trainer cards, and I don't think it's anything more than that, but in some decks that might provide a little bit of a niche. If you want a Psychic Attacker for free energy, we can do better. But I'd like to know what you think about it. I'd like to know which trainers you're going to be recovering, and I'd like to know if you think that's good enough to warrant playing it. So please do let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassiePlays, where we talk about games that don't have Pokemon in. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.